Destiny launched with an introduction to a big, huge new world that took you to a lot of places. And I think we covered a lot of ground. In terms of a sufficient story, I think it's something that has definitely captured the imaginations of players. It really doesn't matter what I think about Destiny's story. We listen to what the player thinks about the story. They've had a lot to say about the narrative. They've had a lot to say about what they expect from Bungie and what they'd like to see from us in the future. And those are the things that I listen to. As a community manager, I don't try to manage people's opinions or decide if they're right or wrong. What I try to do is I try to make sure the developers are well acquainted with how the player feels. A lot of times that portion of my job is on autopilot because everyone in the studio is a voracious reader of that feedback. You know, they look at all of their favorite sites, all of their favorite corners of the internet where people are discussing our game, and we take a look at what the player likes, what they feel like we did well, and they take a look at what the player feels like we should be better at doing. And then, you know, in those conversations, we take those opinions, we cross-reference them with our own, and we challenge ourselves to do a better job. In terms of the story of Destiny, I would say that The Dark Below gives players a chance to see what we have been doing in terms of storytellers since the game launched. I think it's a more unified experience. Instead of sending you from planet to planet, bouncing from place to place, fighting different enemies for different reasons, the entire theme of The Dark Below is Eris and her new arrival in the tower, and her call to action to join her in her war against the Hive, to prevent their dark god from invading Earth. Everything that you do in Destiny, in The Dark Below, every bounty, every quest line, every story mission, the strike, the raid, is all focused on that same theme. Is preventing another invasion of Earth and preventing our enemies from destroying what is left of humanity in our home. So again, you know, our community will become judge, jury, and executioner, and we'll be all ears. I'm already seeing a certain amount of heritage getting infused into this new young community where people are saying, I can't believe someone's going to get this game for Christmas, and they're going to come into the world of Destiny, and they're going to have level 32 exotics available to them. They're never going to know what the original Cryptarch was like. They're never going to know what it's like to stand around in public spaces for hours at a time waiting for a public event. I mean, there's literally a kids these days element of the Destiny community that's starting to take root. You know, when you think about the hyperinflation of this internet community, we've covered a lot of ground. We've lived a lot of time together over the course of the past 3 months. So when you think about what Destiny will be years from now, we hope that it's a drastically different experience, but still something that satisfies you in the same way. The Vault of Glass is a mission in Destiny that might even feel like it's a side parallel experience. It's not necessarily a crucial component of the narrative. The interesting thing about the raid this time is that it is the culmination of The Dark Below. So the things that you do in The Dark Below lead you to Crota's End. And if you have not completed the raid in Destiny, you're going to have some lingering questions about what happens with the Hive. What about that dark god? You know, the enemies that I've been fighting, the minions, even the Blades of Crota that are appearing on Earth are all the precursor to a grand invasion. And the way you stop that invasion from happening is by playing the raid. So it's a little bit more unified with the rest of the story. We want people going into the raid with a sense of the unknown, with a sense of confusion, so that when you complete the raid, you don't feel as if you've just completed a mission, you feel as if you've solved a puzzle with your friends. The people who envision the raid have very specific opinions about matchmaking. As a person who grew out of the Bungie community as an old clan overlord, I believe very strongly in the fact that the best experience for any gamer is to put some deliberate effort into their own social engineering. To understand that the players that you are embarking on that raid with have made the express commitment to finish that activity together. Matchmaking might bring people together in a raid who don't even understand what a raid is. Here's my next activity, it's matching me in with people. Oh, this is interesting, it seems like a longer mission than I'm used to. And then they get called to dinner, and then your raid fails. We don't want that to happen to people. We want to set very specific expectations that a raid is something that is the most difficult thing to do in Destiny. It's the most elaborate experience that we've created in the game, and you want people that you have made a commitment with in advance to finish with. I want so badly for us to add new space to the Vault because it is a constant piece of feedback. Players want to hold on to their stuff. I know that our team is talking about it. How and when exactly it'll manifest and in what way, I can't reveal at this time, but I can tell you that that kernel of feedback has been received. People want to be collectors. The community always surprises us. The extent to which people have played the raid has surprised us. The extent to which people have acquired these exotics and leveled them up to the top. You know, you design a game, you figure a certain percentage of people will acquire and do all of these different things, and we always underestimate the player, because this group of people who have rallied to Destiny and made it their hobby, they just pour themselves into it, and they do everything that we have in there for them to do. And we need to expand the vault in order to let people hold on to things, and it's something that we're talking about. People want to raise the Glimmer level, people want to, yeah, I can tell you that these are things that we're discussing. I don't want to set expectations or make promises until the people on the design team agree with each other as to how that should go down. But player feedback is something that we're very sensitive to. The fact that we've updated so many things in the game, from the Iron Banner to the way public events happen, the way voice chat is implemented into certain match-made encounters. We're very sensitive to what people want, and we like to work as quickly as we can to integrate that stuff into the mix. So while I can't make promises about specific elements, I can say that we're going to continue to support this game. For Destiny 2, the idea is that, the Guardian that you've created is something that you can bring along with you on that adventure. If you take a look at the way, people have played other games for a long period of time, they've had a relationship with the same character for a very long time. There are, of course, cataclysmic events that kind of reset people's expectations for what can happen, but I'm hoping that I have a long and storied relationship with my dead orbit loyal Warlock. I've gotten a little bit of attached to that little guy. The fact that we're working on the game, the fact that we're thinking about the future of Destiny, it's been no secret that we have a 10-year plan for the expansion and evolution of this franchise, and it's something that we're always dreaming about. I've seen new concept art, I've seen new exotic weapons up on people's screens. It's a lot of fun to walk around the studio because there's always somebody thinking about visions for the future. There's always somebody thinking about the next place you'll go, the next enemy that you'll fight, the next thing that you'll earn for doing those things.